Hi everyone, glad that you're back with the Old Lady Speaks. The theme verse, sometimes I forget it, but I like to say it all the time because it deals with issues and that's what we're dealing with. Proverbs 4:23 says to guard your heart with all diligence because out of it flows the issues of life. And today we're going to be talking about envy. We talked about jealousy last week. The definition of envy is an emotion of discontentment and resentment. It comes about when one desires what another person possesses. And we're looking at the story of King Ahab in First Kings chapter 21. And Ahab, the king, he saw, what was his name again? I forget his name. Sorry. Naboth. He had a beautiful vineyard and he just admired it, but he didn't stop at admiring it. He said he wanted it. And the bot told him that he could not, because he offered, money for it. But Nabat told him, I cannot sell it because it's our ancestors' land. And God has been forbidden me to sell it. So I can't. And he was like, because he wanted to turn it into a vegetable garden. But when he got the answer no, the final answer was no, and he goes home and he's sulking. And his wife was a wicked woman, Jezebel. And she's asking him, what's the matter? Why are you sulking? And he tells her that he wanted Naboth's vineyard. And he refused him. And she says, do you know who you are? You're the king. You don't have to take no for an answer. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole chapter because it's very interesting. I want you guys to read it. But I'm just giving you a little summary of it. And he said, she was telling him, come on, you're going to get what you want. So he went to sleep with that thought in mind, and she gives him the plot, what she was going to do. And she set up where it looks like he had blasphemed God and the king. And she had two scoundrels who went along with it, and they helped her get this done, and they had his signature and everything. And so he was stoned to death because that's how bad he wanted. And see, one thing we gotta understand about jealousy. Jealousy, you're only jealous about what belongs to you, and you're trying to keep that. Like Saul thought about him being king, and that belonged to him, even though he had disobeyed and God took it from him. But envy is really worse because envy wants what does not belong to them. That's why in the commandments, God says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thy neighbor's wife, nor anything that is thy neighbor. You can't just go around looking at things and decided that you want it. Because what he did, when he looked at it, he says, I like it. I want it. Why can't it be mine? Instead of saying, oh, this is beautiful. Knowing all along that this does not is not for sale and it's not his. But that's the mindset he had. And the Bible lets us know, first of all, in Philippians 4:8, God tries to give us a pattern of good thinking. Think on things that are lovely, things that are good, things that are honest. Think on the right thoughts when you see something. Instead of envying it, you can admire it because it's not yours. Many women do the same thing with a man. They look at her and I look better than her and I should have him. Not understanding it's not about how she looks. That man passed a whole lot of beautiful women, but he still ended up with who he wanted. You don't have this woman's personality. You are not the woman. So what makes you think, because you think it's just based on look? That's a terrible thing. Envying someone is just full of wickedness and self-centeredness and self-entitlement to the worst level. So when God tells us in Philippians 4:8 to think on the right thoughts, because when a person's thoughts, as it says in Proverbs 23:7, so as a man thinketh, so is he. And that's why we got to think right so we can speak right and so we can act right. And today, there's a lot of terrible, wicked things go on because of envy. Now, you want to know why a person envies so much? Because there's a lack of contentment. If you're content with what you have, you don't go out with an eye full of envy. You admire things. You don't mind complimenting, telling the person, "Oh, that's beautiful," and you mean it from your heart because you're content with what you have. And contentment is happiness and self-satisfaction. It gives you that inner peace because we can't have everything we see. We have a certain amount of money that each family lives on, and because you go to somebody's house who might be five times more than yours, they're gonna have all kinds of things going on in that house that you could not get for the price of yours. But you don't have to be envious. You don't have to act ugly. You can go in there and say, you know, this is really beautiful, and enjoy your stay. And then don't come back home arguing with your husband or whoever's in the house. Yeah, I'm sick of this old house. No, you wasn't sick of it because you went there and you was happy with what you have. It's just like I told my class one time, I said, you know, you was bragging about this car, the mileage that it had on it, and how good the service was. Until you opened that door and you saw the next door neighbor with a brand new car. And they had the nerve not to tell you that they was buying it. Now all of a sudden you don't want this car anymore. And you find complaints with your car. So then you wind up getting in debt, getting another car. Envy will keep you in debt. It will keep you trying to get something that does not belong to you. Or envy today has been so horrible that people have lost their lives. I've seen a couple stories on social media where they envied this boy so bad and had him shot, and he wound up in a wheelchair. He was paralyzed, all because of envy. It's wickedness. It truly is wickedness. So contentment is accepting what God gives you, and you're grateful for it. You're thankful for it. How dare you be just not happy with what God gives you? Somebody will always have something better than you, cost more than you, all the time. So why do you want to have that for a lifestyle, going around envying people and plotting on how you can get it and hating on them for what they have? Jesus said in his word, life does not consist in the abundance of things. You're not who you are based on what you have. So today I just want you to remember, and if you're envying, you can get over this because Paul said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's simply taking it to the Lord in prayer. Open up and be honest. Lord, I'm very envious. I'm not happy for nobody. Can you change me? Can you make me different? And yes, he can change you. Do you want to be changed? So this is what I want you to think about, because next time I come with you, we're going to be discussing friends, how to pick good friends. Because too many times you're picking friends and you're calling them friends and they're only acquaintances or associates or your neighbors. Friends, the Bible says a friend loveth at all times. So we're going to talk about that next week. And just today, you should close out in prayer. If you're not happy for anybody, ask God to help you. Because Paul said, what did he say? I've learned to be content for whatever state I find myself in. And he found himself in some good times and some bad times. He said, I know what it is to be cold. I know what it is to be hungry. But he was praising God through all of it. And you can too. So until next time, I'll see you. Have a good day.